Can you really run a 7-figure cleaning business with just a few hours per week? Is this just clickbait? No, it's not. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I went from working 12 to 14-hour days, cleaning offices for scraps, to taking home over $30,000 per month without being stuck in the daily grind. And the crazy part, I figured most of it out by reading this book right here. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how this book completely changed the way I ran my cleaning business. I'm also gonna break down the biggest levers that I had to pull to automate this business from day one, and the huge mistakes that I made along the way so you can avoid them too. By the end of this video, you're gonna have a clear roadmap for building an office cleaning business that is both highly profitable and almost completely automated. But quickly, if you are unfamiliar, my name is Mike Mack, and my wife and I have built and automated 2 cleaning businesses in 2 separate states over the last 10 years. I also wrote the Amazon bestseller, Pick Up Cash, Not Trash. It's a book about building a real commercial cleaning business that's profitable and fun to run, not a glorified job. But today, we are talking about building that dream business. So let's get right into it. I quit my 9-to-5 prematurely because I was so fed up, and I took the remaining money of my last paycheck, and my wife and I, we went all in. Now at this point, it was our second cleaning business, so we had a level of certainty that it would work. But let me be clear, we were not starting with much. And when your back is against the wall, you either figure it out or you fail. Now, I had already left my job and my wife left hers months prior, so there was no safety net. This was our legitimate burn the boats moment. There's no plan B, there's no backup income, and that's when everything began to click. This book taught me to see things completely differently because when we started, we were stuck doing the cleaning. We were locked into the business that we had built for ourselves. And look, in the beginning, it wasn't that bad. No jobs equals no money. So getting clients and staying busy felt like a win. But after a few months of cleaning night after night, it started to wear on us big time. But there were 2 good things about cleaning that much. Number 1, you stay lean. You're walking miles every night, so it's free cardio. You don't need to go to the gym. And number 2, you get to listen to a lot of books from people who have already been where you've been on the business journey. So it just gave me an ability to start leveling up, to start thinking differently. But then one night, I'm scrolling through Audible and I come across The 4-Hour Workweek. The cover looked kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. It felt a little bit scammy, and honestly, I looked at the book the same way you might have looked at this video. Like, is this just a load of crap? But I figured I've got nothing to lose. So I listened to it and the book completely blew my mind. I was hooked within the first 5 minutes of reading it, and I listened to it every single night for a week straight. Then the next time I read it, I started taking notes and I started implementing the changes. And you know what happened? 3 months later, we started earning more money and we were completely free from all cleaning. So here's exactly what changed. These are the exact principles from the 4-Hour Workweek that transform my business. So let's start with the first major breakthrough. So when we started, we were landing very small clients. Each of our clients was only bringing in about 500 to 750 per month on average. Now for us, getting clients was not really an issue because of our experience. But when they're all under $1,000, it becomes damn near impossible to staff those accounts and still be profitable. But I thought the name of the game was just keep getting more customers. But here's what I didn't realize at first. Cleaners did not want these small accounts. Why? Well, if you have small accounts and you hand them small accounts, to make it worth their time, they're gonna need like 4 or 5 locations per night. And that meant more driving around for them, more lugging equipment from site to site since these are very small locations. So, ultimately it was less efficient. And instead of cleaning 4 hours in one place, they're just wasting time making stops. It's weather, gas, frustration, it gets really old quickly. So every time we landed a small account, it was like shooting ourselves in the foot. Because even though we can land them pretty easily, ultimately, it just wasn't sustainable for what we were trying to build. Now, this was straight out of the 4-Hour Workweek. And Tim Ferriss calls this the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your revenue comes from just 20% of your clients. And on the flip side, 80% of your headaches come from the other 20%. So the lesson here is the smaller clients, they were in the 80%. So we had to flip our strategy. Instead of trying to land as many clients as possible, we focused on fewer but bigger clients. And that changed everything for us because we started to make more money and it started getting a lot easier to staff these locations with rockstar cleaners. And that alone was a monumental shift in my company's history. All right, before we get to breakthrough number 2, real quickly, if you are just starting out and you have ambitions to grow this business, getting around the right people can be huge because if we stay in the same circles, we're never going to get a lot of growth there. So I created a free school community of over 1,000 cleaning business owners, and there's nothing but, I believe, good ideas and support in that group. So check out the second link in the description to go join that group. Breakthrough number 2. At this point in my life, I had no idea what a system was, let alone how to build one for my business. And at first, my wife and I were handling literally everything. We were the sales team. We were the marketing department. We were the admin staff. We were customer service. We were HR. I mean, we did everything, literally everything. And we were also the cleaners. So I'm looking at our business thinking, how the heck can systems fix this? And that's where I came across another brilliant concept from the 4-hour work week that, again, changed everything. It's delegation as a skill. This analogy helped me out a lot. So think about McDonald's for a second. When the McDonald's brothers started their burger business, their dream was to scale to multiple locations. But at the time, they were just in one restaurant, and they were highly leveraged into that restaurant. So what did they do to kind of figure it out? Well, it's actually brilliant. They broke down every single part of how the restaurant functioned. They figured out how exactly the burger should be made, how long the fries should take to cook, how fast the employees needed to work, and they documented every single detail along the way so that a McDonald's in California would run exactly the same as a McDonald's in New York City. And they essentially built a brilliant system for how a business, a restaurant, could operate successfully without needing them. And then once I thought to myself, if you can do that with like a chain of restaurants, then you can totally do that with a simple business like cleaning. And once I understood that, I realized that that is exactly what I needed to do for my business. So here's what we did. We did the SOP overhaul. Tim Ferriss says the only way to truly delegate is by first tracking every single thing that you do. So my wife and I documented every single task we did for weeks. And at first, I was convinced we would not be able to delegate most of it. I think we could hire cleaners, obviously, sure, but marketing, no way. Sales, no, that's gotta be us. What about customer service? Clients wanna talk to us directly. How are we gonna pull that off? Well, I was wrong across the board because when we actually broke it down, almost everything could be systematized. So here's how we cut our hours down by 90% once we finished building our SOPs. I was shocked at how little was actually left for us. And the result, we were able to hire virtual assistants to handle a lot of the admin work, client follow-ups, scheduling. We trained a recruiter to hire and onboard the cleaners the way we like it done. We handed off our day-to-day customer service, and clients didn't care as long as the work got done, as long as they felt heard and communicated with. And guess what? Suddenly, the only things that were left for me and my wife to do were the things that we actually enjoyed. So she got to focus on sales because she loved meeting new people and connecting. I love marketing. It's my favorite thing ever. I love to persuade. I love to get people to think differently about a topic. And within 90 days of establishing all of these systems, we went from cleaning 14 hours a day plus running the business to working less than 10 hours per week combined, only doing what we enjoyed. And that right there was the moment that business finally became fun. Now, the final breakthrough. And now this one, it ties it all together. Because if we're gonna pull this off, and we were, then we had to get good at saying no. See, the 3 hardest no's that we had to say are 1, saying no to small clients. Even though it felt like we were turning away money, once our marketing started catching fire, the leads started rolling in. And even though we were targeting larger contracts, there were still smaller businesses that wanted to work with us. And let me tell you, saying no to money, especially in the beginning of your journey, feels very difficult. Because here we were, 2 kids in business that needed money, and we were out here rejecting paying customers. I mean, people in our friend circles thought we were crazy. But we had to keep our mission in mind because every time we said yes to a $500 per month contract, we were essentially saying no to a $5,000 per month contract. because essentially we just wouldn't have time to be servicing both. And in business, opportunity cost is very, very real. So with that being said, we started sticking to our standards hard. And if that meant a customer wasn't gonna be paying at least $3,000 a month, we respectfully passed. Or if that potential customer didn't respect our process, we passed. If they seemed like they would be a nightmare, we passed. That discipline is what forced our business to ultimately level up. The second thing we had to say no to was the wrong cleaners. Even if that meant more work for us up front, the second thing we had to start saying no to was cleaners that didn't fit. Now, early on, if you had a pulse and you had a warm body, we were desperate to get out of cleaning. So, we'd give you a shot. But every time we did, it backfired. And we ended up with people who were unreliable, people who didn't care about our customers and the quality that had to be delivered, and people who ultimately weren't a part of our culture. So we flipped it and we got extra picky. We only hired cleaners that actually fit what we were looking for. And yeah, sometimes that meant we had to do a little bit of cleaning for ourselves in the beginning before we really dialed in. But it was worth it, because when we finally got the right team in place, everything ran so much smoother. And the last thing we had to learn to say no to was the industry BS and limiting beliefs. Because trust me, this industry is filled with it, most are. But the last thing we had to block out was this bad advice, because it wasn't our friend. I believe this industry has a lot of false ideas that hold people back. Like, you can't automate a cleaning business. This isn't a tech company. You'll never be able to charge high prices. There's just too much competition. What about the franchises? What about the bigger companies? You're gonna have to clean yourself for years before you can pull away. You should clean houses and offices. It goes on and on and on. And honestly, if we had listened to that advice, we'd still be working those 13, 14-hour shifts, miserable beyond belief, instead of running our business like the bosses that we are. I want you to think of it like a VIP club. You ever notice how the best clubs in the world, they have a long line outside, but once you get in, it's exclusive? That's exactly how business works. If you let everyone in, then you lose exclusivity. You lose the quality. You become just another option. But when you set a standard and you say no to the wrong people and the wrong opportunities, that's when the right ones show up. I'm telling you, it sounds corny, it sounds cheesy, but it's real. Saying no is what made us profitable. No to the clients who weren't worth our time. No to the cleaners who didn't meet our standards. And no to the BS that keeps most people in this industry stuck. Once we got locked in like that, scaling this company became a whole lot easier. So at this point, you should have a great understanding of the journey and automating your cleaning business. I want you to walk away from this video knowing that it's possible, knowing that you absolutely can do this, and knowing that you're capable. So if I did my job effectively, then you are absolutely inspired, because that's what I want these videos to be for you. And if you are inspired and you're like, I'm in the beginning, how do I do it, Mike? You got me. How do I get going? Then you're gonna need to watch this video right here, because it's gonna give you a step-by-step so you don't get lost in the process and you can finally get this business off the ground and running the way you want it to be running. I'll see you on the other side.